Okay, well, welcome everyone. My name is Gray Fowler. I'm here from NetDimensions, provider of enterprise learning and talent management systems. And specifically, I'm from the interactive group. We are located up in the northeastern United States, in the state of Connecticut. And our group is focused on development of custom, bespoke content, custom learning tools, and custom learning portals. And that's what I'm here to speak with you about today. So specifically, we'll talk about put some definition around learning portals, talk about the benefits, applications of learning portals, some examples, including some case studies of some work that we've done in the interactive group. And then finally, we'll talk a little bit about development of learning portals, just on a very high level. So what is a portal? We know what a portal is. It's a gateway or an entrance. But a custom e-learning portal provides learning resources and tools that target a specific audience or subject area or business goal. I view it as the missing link between the learner and the learning resources. You know, portals afford us the opportunity to blend multiple modes of learning, basically formal learning with informal learning and all of the various resources that we have available to us, and combine them all into one holistic learning experience. And you know, these days we need to be developing learner-centric experiences. You know, it's not enough to just put an LMS up there and fill it with content and hope they will come. We need to really build focused experiences for our learners. And that's what portals are all about. So how is a learning portal different from an LMS? Well, I think we can think of an LMS as addressing many people. It contains all of the content that our organization has compiled. And whereas a learning portal is going to address just the specific audience for the specific training requirement. Now, today's LMSs are highly configurable. NetDimensions Talent Suite actually provides the opportunity to develop portal-like experiences for different business units, or based on role, what have you. But there's some times where you might not want to be forced into that framework. You want a clean slate. You want to develop a training solution from scratch. And we take cues from Steve Jobs here, where Steve Jobs would, consumer empathy would be what drives his designs. He would start with the user experience. What do I want the user to experience with my product? And then backfill the technology, as opposed to trying to fit the technology into what my need is. So this is what a portal allows us to do. So we're going to accomplish a very specific goal, and we're going to do it with a custom portal. So what are some of the key features we see in portals? Well, of course, we're going to have courses, and we're going to have formal learning that's going to be served up from our learning management system. But we're going to combine that with social elements, such as wikis and blogs and forums and all of those wonderful social tools that allow us to collaborate. So we get the best of both worlds. We can support that with surveys and polls that allow us to collect feedback and information about how the learner's experience is going. And of course, we're supporting that with reference resources and just-in-time type learning, as well as performance support. And we can motivate the learner with tools like leaderboards and badges and other gamification tools. And that all gets wrapped together in a beautiful brand that you get to create for your learner, an experience. We also have the opportunity to provide administrators with tools such as dashboards for analytics and reporting. So these are all features that can be integrated into a learning portal, but really the sky's the limit. It's whatever you feel that learner needs to see or accomplish as part of your learning goal. So how does this all work? Well, it's basically a bunch of components from disparate areas, different functions, and we're going to consolidate them into one website. We're going to do that using different technologies. So, for example, in the case of a learning management system, we use APIs, or application program interface, to access data from within the learning management system and share that data back. For example, registrations, registration information, and extracting courses and resources and such. So we do that through APIs. In fact, NetDimensions Talent Suite has a robust list of APIs that let us access quite a bit, if not most of the functionality within the learning management system, and then we can repackage that the way we please within the learning portal. But the beauty of all of this is that we can combine it with other assets, such as the social media component. And how might we get that into our portal? Well, we can use maybe a widget. So what's a widget? A widget is basically a pre-programmed portable element that can be embedded within your website. Then we have links, just standard permalinks that you would perhaps access resources from your intranet site. And you can also use iframes to embed other websites within your portal. But the magic sauce here, what really pulls this all together and makes this feel like a coherent package, is the idea that you have a single sign-on that's going to, behind the scenes, log into all of these different systems. And that's what really encapsulates the experience for the learner. So the learner's really just seeing one website, but the single sign-on allows for sort of a seamless experience. It's the glue that pulls it all together. So custom learning portal attributes. Why are we doing this? Why do we care about this? Well, portals are completely custom websites designed for specific training goals. I mentioned that. And one of the key attributes is the fact that it's tailored. So portals afford us the opportunity to build personalized learning experiences for a specific audience. We're basically serving up our learning on a silver platter. We can add learning paths that provide a clear map through this learning journey that we're going to serve up that's multimodal. It's centralized. It becomes sort of the one-stop shop where you can find everything that you need to get your job done. So it becomes job or role focused, right? It's subject matter focused. It's not, we're not dropping you off at the Library of Congress and telling you to figure out, how to get your training. We're going to serve it up to you very, very clearly. It combines formal and informal learning modes. I think this is kind of a powerful element of a portal, because we all know that informal learning accounts for 70% of what we know, and being able to combine that informal learning with the formal learning makes for a powerful package. We're going to combine relevant messaging to help motivate the learner and keep them in touch with the latest news around their program and let them know about deadlines and such. It promotes continuous learning because they know it's the place to go to get the latest information, just like you go to YouTube when you want to get the latest information on the newest gadget. But this is for your job, and so it's very role-centric and subject-centric. And we can motivate our learners. We can leverage gamification, as I mentioned, with badging and leaderboards. We can promote the sharing of ideas with our social media elements. And then perhaps those ideas that were shared from the field trickle up to management, that gets processed and refined, and then trickles down to facilitate the development of best practices within the organization. And then we have the opportunity to integrate training with the actual business process. So if you have let's say a sales organization, you developed a sales portal, and the sales figures for your product line are displayed on that portal prominently every day, and you notice that there's a product that's not selling as well as it should. But there's one salesperson that really gets it, and he's onto something great, and he's doing a great job selling this portal. Well, he can share his ideas right there on using the social media components. And then maybe that manager picks up on that information and formalizes that and turns it into policy. So you can see that loop there that makes it so powerful because we're focusing this multimodal learning in one package. So what are some common applications we see for learning portals? I think we've all seen new hire onboarding type portals, certainly sales training, service training, manufacturing, compliance, and extended enterprise is big now because many large organizations are working with external vendors that they need trained. We're working now with a large aerospace organization where we're training all of their partners on their supply chain. Very powerful. But I'd like to hear some of your ideas. I don't know if I can actually hear you because it's so loud in here. But any ideas about some portals that you've seen in practice within your organizations? So product training, yep. Well, certainly, this is still relatively new, and really, there's no limit to the boundaries of the subject area for your portals. So, what's an example of how these components might come together? So, I showed you sort of a high-level view. Here's sort of digging a level deeper. And I'm showing here the sort of the feature within the portal and the source, where that comes from. So in this case, we have some custom messaging using video or text that provides some context around what we're going to experience in this portal, and introduces the portal to the learner and basically provides guidance. And it also provides a learning path so they understand how to get through the program and can watch as they're completing each step in the program. And the source for that would be a custom element that you build for the portal. And then, of course, the formal e-learning will come from the learning management system. Your resources might come from your intranet site on the HR portal, or then maybe there's the IT resources that are coming from a separate extranet or intranet site. And so the resources come from anywhere. It's all about consolidating them into this portal. You have maybe a SaaS-based social media portal, and maybe your HR system is designating a mentor for your new employee. And we can post their information directly from the HR system. So again, it's all about consolidation here. So let's look at a couple examples of some portals that we've recently developed for a couple of our clients. The first is Digicel. Digicel is a communications company located in the Caribbean, and they had recently acquired, I believe, 300 stores, and they needed to get 1,000 plus retail employees up to speed on their products and their selling techniques, and they needed to motivate these individuals. And these are busy people, and so what they did was they integrated some gamification elements, as we'll see, and the outcome has been terrific. They launched in November at over 1,600 courses registered to date, and the feedback's been very positive from both the learner audience and stakeholders. So here's a look at the initial sort of entranceway to the portal where you can log in, and you can see there's a registration button here. The portal supports multiple languages, and we provided a key that allows access into the portal. So the manager would distribute a key, and after clicking the register button, the learner just provides the key to access the portal. And once they're into the registration form, they fill out their profile information, and that it would include the role and the store information, including their market, their store name, address. And then this allows us to insert that learner's profile in the appropriate hierarchy for the reporting structure at a later date, so their managers can view their training records. And here's a look at the portal. you can see it's got a very personalized look and feel. It's not kind of your typical LMS feel. It's very personalized. The learner can upload their photo, and it provides a leaderboard function. There's just a set of a half a dozen or so courses that are presented rather than a huge library of courses, and they're auto-enrolled in these courses. And there's a goal date for each of the courses that's set up, and if the learner completes the course by the goal date or before, they earn extra points. So this is what's helping drive the learning, and so obviously based on their point structure, that's where they'll be lined up on the leaderboard, and they can filter the leaderboard based on their store, so they can compare themselves with their store peers or the market they're in. And there's other features on the portal as well, news and polls and reference resources, and they can also sign up for additional courses. So it's a very comprehensive site, but delivered in a very friendly, welcoming kind of way. Another case I'd like to share with you is 3Shape Academy. This is a really cool high-tech company that provides dental imaging equipment. So this little gun you see here is a dental scanner that scans the dental work and provides a 3D image on the screen that, as you can imagine, rotates and everything. So they needed to provide comprehensive training to the dentists and the clinicians that are operating this equipment. So their goal was to provide that training and to do it in a multimodal fashion. So there's pre-work that occurs in an e-learning format with videos. And then there's clinics. They have a clinic that they attend right actually within their actual dentist's office. The sales tech comes to their office and trains them, and then finally there's resources available after that clinic. Similar to Digicel, there's a registration that they access via key code, authentication code, and it authenticates against a proprietary CRM system that also has their passwords for accessing the software for the actual product. And this is helpful because it means they'll only have one password for both systems. And you can imagine that'll alleviate a certain amount of headache. So here's a look at the portal, and you can see there's a clear learning path. And what's kind of interesting is that they use the shape of that dental instrument as sort of their learning path, using that little metaphor there. And it's very simple, friendly, 4-step process. And for each step, the specific tasks are listed below. And as I mentioned, it's multimodal, and the learner will complete these video components, and there's even a place to order a welcome package. So you can see we're integrating some of the business process with the training here. And then you also have some other reference materials here as well. And here on step 2, after they've completed the clinic, they fill in some information about their clinic, kind of proving that they actually attended the clinic. And then clicking on the register button then presents them with feedback and the opportunity to print out a certification. So it really kind of completes that loop. And then there's a survey that's optional that they can take. And from that point, the next step is enabled, and that just really provides a more comprehensive library of more in-depth topics now that they've been introduced to the tool and they understand how to use it. Sort of makes them an expert. But now they know where to come, and all the resources are here. And this becomes the one-stop shop go-to place to find their training for the Trios 3Shape product. So analytics are a big part of portals as well. Basically, we have the opportunity to create custom analytics and dashboards for our administrators using portals. So based on the role, when the administrator logs in, they'll provided access to these analytic components. And then administrator functions too would occur right on the portal with text editors for the CMS, news editors, and those types of functions. Portals support mobile as well, and as you can imagine, certain content that would be provided on a portal might not be appropriate, say, for a mobile smartphone. So what we do is we use device detection to understand what type of format we're going to be serving the portal content up on, and then just make our adjustments dynamically. So in this case, we might just serve up the reference resources to provide that performance support that would often be helpful with using a smartphone. And finally, I want to take a look at the portal development process just on a high level. So basically, it's a three-phase process where you have requirements analysis, the development cycle, and then maintenance. So with the requirements and analysis and design, basically you're just like you would hire an architect to help you design your home. You're going to work with your developer to identify your business goals, your target audience, all the key features that you're looking to integrate, any third-party systems like the social media components we were talking about, your authentication requirements, the branding guidelines, and the look and feel that you're going for. Maybe you want to create some cool metaphor for serving up your training. You'll design all the navigation mechanics as well. So all this comes together with hosting requirements. You're going to take all of this and put it into a specification document. So now you have some scope around this portal project. And that's going to allow you to move forward and start talking about cost. Because what I find is a lot of my customers want to know, how much is it going to cost? Well, we don't know what it is yet, and that's the challenge, right? Because it's totally custom. It could be anything you want. So what we do is we try to work with you to do that analysis phase in a workshop format. And then we can look at scope and come up with a schedule and identify the resources we need, identify the content sources, and get into a full development cycle. And once the development's complete, conventional 3-cycle review process occurs with alpha, beta, gold, which you're probably familiar with, and then perhaps a pilot test depending on your group, and then the portal can go live. And then finally, the third phase would be maintenance and enhancements. And this is fairly straightforward, where you would just do follow-up and review on the site, establish a feedback tracking mechanism with your users so you can understand if they're getting out of it what you need. And you're going to monitor the ongoing technical performance of the site. Make sure you're accommodating any new mobile devices that are coming out, new web browsers, new operating systems. So we need to kind of keep our eye on that as the portal gets into maturity. And then any enhancement ideas are addressed at that time too. So we typically do sort of a yearly health checkup on your portal and perform any updates as needed. So that concludes my review on portals. If you have any questions, I'm over at booth D22 over here at Net Dimensions. And there's my email address, and I'd love to talk to you if you have any interest in developing portals or if you just have any questions about portals. Thanks so much.